And this is a point I've touched on several times on my channel. There are nutrients that are vital for our health that we cannot get from plants, when in reality, not eating meat, not eating animal foods can be detrimental to our health. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Kate, I'm a health coach, and I post videos on a high-fat, yes sis. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Kate, I'm a health coach, and I post videos on a high-fat, nutrient-dense way of eating. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, feel free to share, and make sure to subscribe. And make sure to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, where I share new posts every single day. Before we get started, I just wanted to thank Squarespace for sponsoring today's video. From websites and online stores to marketing tools and analytics, Squarespace is the all-in-one platform to build a beautiful online presence and run your business. Head over to squarespace.com/healthcoachkate to start your free trial today. Today, I am going to be going through and responding to, elaborating on an article that was put out by the BBC a few weeks ago. The article is titled, How a Vegan Diet Could Affect Your Intelligence. And this is a point I've touched on several times on my channel. There are nutrients that are vital for our health that we cannot get from plants. Now, I would never tell anyone what they should or shouldn't eat. That is entirely up to you. But I do think there is this misconception that fruits and vegetables are the healthiest plants we can consume, and therefore a vegan diet is the healthiest diet. When in reality, not eating meat, not eating animal foods can be detrimental to our health. This article does a really great job of breaking down how not consuming meat can affect your brain, and they also have a lot of really interesting studies to back up their claims. So with that, let's get into it. The idea that avoiding meat is bad for our brains makes some intuitive sense. Anthropologists have been arguing about what our ancestors ate for decades, but many scientists think that there was a lot of bone crunching and brain slurping on the road to evolving these remarkable 1.4 kilo organs. Some have even gone so far as to say that meat made us human. One reason is that intelligence is expensive. The brain devours about 20% of our daily calories, though it accounts for just 2% of our body weight. And what better way to find the enormous array of fats, amino acids, vitamins, and minerals these organs require than by feasting on animals which have already painstakingly collected or made them. This is so important to note. Animals are literally made of all the nutrients that us as humans need, perfectly balanced amino acids, every single essential one, and all the vitamins and minerals we need are packed into one food. When we think about eating the regular healthy or balanced diet, we are always told you need to eat a wide range of fruits and vegetables. And this is because each plant contains some vitamins and minerals, but not others. And in order to theoretically get all your requirements from plants, you have to mix and match. But why go through all this trouble when meat has everything we need? But though it's hard to imagine our ancestors choosing tune-ups over tuna, today it's a different story. According to the latest statistics, there are around 375 million vegetarians on the planet. In the West, veganism has ditched the hippie stigma to become one of the fastest growing millennial trends in the United States. It grew by 600% between 2014 and 2017. Meanwhile, in India, meat-free diets have been mainstream since the 6th century BCE. On one hand, recent concern about the nutritional gaps in a plant-based diet has led to a number of alarming headlines, including a warning that they can stunt brain development and cause irreversible damage to a person's nervous system. Back in 2006, the German Society for Nutrition went so far as to categorically state that for children, pregnant or nursing women, and adolescents, vegan diets are not recommended, which has been backed up by a 2018 review of the research. After the Royal Academy of Medicine in Belgium decided a vegan diet was unsuitable for children, parents who forced a vegan diet on their offspring in Belgium could even one day find themselves in prison. I find this so interesting how certain countries can come right out and say that a vegan diet is unsafe, whereas other countries are saying it is safe. And the main reason for this is because it is extremely hard to conduct solid nutrition research. What you really need to do is randomized control trials where everything is monitored, every participant is in the same environment, but you can't conduct studies like this because you would have to lock people up for months, if not years, and be in control of everything they do. And even if you had people who are willing to do that, it would be extremely expensive. There is one study out there that came closer than most to this standard. It was conducted on 555 Kenyan school children who were fed one of 3 different types of soup, one with meat, one with milk, and one with oil, or no soup at all, as a snack over 7 school terms. They were tested before and after to see how their intelligence compared. The majority of the children were de facto vegetarians at the start of the study. Surprisingly, the children who were given the soup containing meat each day seemed to have a significant edge. By the end of the study, they outperformed all other children on a test for nonverbal reasoning. I think this study was pretty striking and not what the researchers were expecting. The article then goes on to talk about other nutrients that are important for our brain that you cannot get from plants. Creatine, carnosine, taurine, EPA and DHA omega-3, heme iron, and vitamins B12 and D3 generally only occur naturally in foods derived from animal products, though they can be synthesized in a lab or extracted from non-animal sources such as algae, bacteria, and added to supplements. Others are found in vegan foods, but only in meager amounts. To get the minimum amount of vitamin B6 required each day, which is 1.3 milligrams, from one of the richest plant sources, potatoes, you'd have to eat about 5 cups worth, equivalent to roughly 750 grams or 1.6 pounds. And although the body can make some of these vital brain compounds from other ingredients in our diets, this ability isn't usually enough to make for the dietary cracks. For all the nutrients listed above, vegetarians and vegans have been shown to have lower quantities in their bodies. In some cases, deficiency isn't the exception, it's completely normal. And this goes back to what I said at the start of this video, this misconception that plants are the healthiest foods we can eat. We assume that we can get all the nutrients we need from them and in adequate amounts. And as we just read, this is not the case. I think when it comes to plant-based diets, we really need to separate the discussion of nutrition from the discussion of ethics. Right now, the line between the two is blurred. When we are only talking about nutrition, hands down, animal foods are critical for our health. Not only are they nutrient dense, but they also contain these nutrients in forms that are easier for our bodies to absorb. We're going to take a quick break to thank the sponsor of today's video, which is Squarespace. I use Squarespace for all of my online needs. I designed my website, I bought my domain, I manage my email list, I manage my online store, all through Squarespace. Their platform is super easy to use. You do not need any experience in web design to create a clean and professional website. Their all-in-one platform also supports scheduling, donations, detailed analytics, and more. Head to squarespace.com/healthcoachkate to start your free trial. And when you're ready to launch, use code HealthCoachKate to save 10% off your first purchase. The article then goes on to say, there are some tragic cases of children whose brains failed to develop because of their parents being ill-informed vegans, said David Benton. In one example, the child was unable to sit or smile. In another, they slipped into a coma. This is honestly so tragic, especially because it's preventable. Later in life, the amount of B12 in a person's blood has been directly correlated with their IQ. In the elderly, one study found that the brains of those with lower B12 were 6 times more likely to be shrinking. Low B12 is widespread in vegans. One British study found that half of vegans in their sample were deficient. In some parts of India, the problem is endemic. possibly as a consequence of the popularity of meat-free diets. We take vitamin B12 completely for granted, especially if we're eating an omnivore diet. It's something that we don't even think about just because it is so abundant in meat. And I know people eating a plant-based diet might be supplementing, but then again, I know people who eat or have eaten a plant-based diet and supplement and have still had low levels. Another nutrient that is scarce in the typical vegan diet is iron. Though we often associate it with blood, iron also plays a prominent role in brain development and is essential for keeping the organ healthy throughout our lives. For example, one 2007 study found that giving young women iron supplements led to significant intellectual gains. In those whose blood level irons increased over the course of the study, their performance on a cognitive test improved between 5 and 7-fold, while participants whose hemoglobin levels went up experienced gains in their processing speed. Other common deficiencies among vegans include vitamin D3, omega-3, selenium, folate, and iodine. Though the body can make D3 when the sun is exposed to sunshine, this doesn't make up for the extra that vegans are missing from their diets. In the winter months, when the sun is weaker, omnivores living in the UK have nearly 40% more vitamin D3 in their blood than vegans. Of course, some of these things can easily be acquired from supplements, but others are so obscure, vegans are unlikely to have even heard of them, let alone realize that they could be missing out. One example is taurine. This enigmatic amino acid is one of the most plentiful in the human brain, where it's thought to underpin several important processes, such as regulating the number of neurons. It's often added to caffeinated energy drinks because of the possibly mistaken belief that it can provide an immediate cognitive boost. Meat and seafood are the best source of taurine, and like the author of this article said, it often gets overlooked. Some species have the ability to make all the taurine they need, says Zhang Wu, a biomedical scientist at Florida Atlantic University, but humans have a very limited capacity to do this. For this reason, vegans tend to have less taurine in their bodies. No one has looked into how this might be affecting their cognitive abilities yet, but based on what we know about its role in the brain, Wu says vegans should be taking taurine tablets. People can become deficient when they restrict their diets because vegetables have no taurine content, he says. And then they go on to talk about choline, which is super underrated. I'm so glad they mentioned it in this article. It often gets forgotten. It's required for cell structuring and cell messaging in the body, which is involved in a number of tasks, including relaying messages between nerve cells. It's fundamental to our ability to think. Even insects have it in their tiny brains, and the body can't produce enough of it on its own. There are small amounts of choline in lots of vegan staples, but among the richest sources are eggs, beef, and seafood. To put this into perspective, one egg contains about 150 milligrams of choline, whereas a cup of broccoli, which is among the best plant sources of choline, has around 40 milligrams. Gram for gram, eggs have 6 times the choline amount that broccoli does. The latest nutrition in question is creatine, a white powdery substance often found in fitness shakes. But it's also important to the brain, and studies have shown that increasing your intake can provide a range of benefits such as better recognition memory and reduced mental fatigue. Recently, it started to gain traction as a smart drug. It's well established that vegans and vegetarians have significantly lower levels in their bodies because plants and fungi do not contain any. The article concludes with a few statements from dietitians and researchers who are both for and against vegan diets, but I think we'll leave it off with this one statement. Without question, veganism can cause B12 and iron deficiencies, and without question, they affect your intelligence. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already. And thank you once again to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Remember to head over to squarespace.com/healthcoachkate to start your free trial. Thanks again, guys, and I will see you next time. Bye.